It's Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and Joe Lyons is joining us. He is the mayor of Claremont, and as the voters of California were voting on the proposition dealing with water, the water bond, Prop 1, voters in Claremont had their own water issue. It's known as Measure W, very controversial, but it caused huge voter turnout. Tell us about Measure W.
Measure W was, again, the result of a grassroots efforts in Claremont to force the city council to move forward on procuring the water company if at all possible. The vote on Measure W was the preliminary to purchase. It provides us the revenues that we can use to move ahead.
Suffice to say, relations between the purveyor and the city and its residents had soured dramatically.
Yes, and that was in fact the reason this time, unlike other times in the past, this one was successful, was because they crossed the line. They just became totally non-responsive to the ratepayers, and what really was most annoying at the end was the fact that the city had saved considerably in conservation efforts, only to have their bills reflect an increase in revenue ability from Golden State. They have the right to recover any lost revenue associated with conservation efforts so that they remain revenue neutral and lose absolutely nothing in the process.
How are they able to do that?
The California Public Utility Commission allows them to collect that lost revenue for a number of different areas, not only conservation, but in just about every operational.
Do other entities do this?
No, we certainly couldn't, and would not be able to if we purchased the company. No, they all are. We have to go to the voter.
So the voters, with a 50% turnout, which was much higher than the rest of the county in November, which was around 30%, passed the measure by a whopping 72% of the vote. That's a landslide. That's not close.
That's not even close.
And so what happens now?
What happens now is we already filed eminent domain based upon the fact that we now have the funds to move forward should the courts decide that the right to take is based on our resolution of necessity is valid.
That's dramatic.
It is
eminent
very
domain is a dramatic step to take.
It is.
And the necessity that you will claim?
The necessity will be that it will be in the best interest of Claremont residents, both giving us local control over rate setting and operation of the system, and most importantly, over the water future of our city.
And is that sufficient?
We consider consider it sufficient. I think by comparison to the rates that are being paid by our next door neighbor, clearly the financial impact will be significant.
So where do you go from here? You goes into the courts.
Yes.
I assume they will oppose the application.
They will. A judge will determine the right to take portion,
Right.
and if they allow the right to take, we have options of immediate takeover or to wait for a court estimation of value.
Right. I mean, under eminent domain, they will get a fair market value.
They will certainly get, and that's the misunderstood element of eminent domain, is they will get a fair market value, and they've already in public statements indicated that they will not receive a major financial hit should the system have to be
So what about a settlement? I mean, now that the voters have spoken, it does seem that maybe it's time for the parties to get together and try to avoid court costs. And
we would hope so, except that one more time, Golden State has the advantage in that they can pass all of those costs on to the
litigation costs.
The litigation costs, the cost of doing business. We question that, but it would require a court case to determine whether or not.
So if you have to go all the way through, how long will this take?
It could take up to 3 more years to finally. If we get the right to take, though, we could take immediately, and then.
Well, the good news is the voters were engaged.
The voters were clearly engaged.
His name is Joe Lyons. He is the mayor of the beautiful city of Claremont, California. My name is Brad Pomerance, and you're watching Time Warner Cable's local edition.